to my channel. Today, this is going to be something different that I haven't done on my channel before. As you guys know, I upload a video every single month, kind of going through the products that I absolutely loved for that particular month. And so I was going through March, April's, May's, and June's of last year, and I was really awkward back then because I was still really I was intimidated behind the camera and I wasn't very comfortable, and I also wasn't the best at editing, and so my videos were really loud and there was just a lot of like, I mean, not that they're not loud now because I like yell at the camera, but you know what I mean. I was going through those videos, and as I was talking about those products that I loved for that month, I was like, oh my gosh, I've not played with those in a long time. Wouldn't that be fun to kind of go through and pick products from each one of those monthly favorites videos and just create a look with it and see if my opinion has changed on them, if they're still my favorites. You know, I buy and review so many different products every month, and all of those products from last year have just been shoved to the side because I've been, you know, reviewing so many new products and there's been so many new collections, and so sometimes it's just fun to kind of reminisce and go back and pull out those products that you were just raving about from the year before, and I just think it's fun. Just turn it on the camera and playing with old makeup. So that's what we're gonna do. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and without further ado, let's jump right into the video. Okay, so let's get started on this video. I'm kind of excited because some of these products really get pushed to the side. So I'm basically going to be doing like March, April, May, and June's, like pulling products from each one of those months of those favorites, because that way I kind of have a variety. So in March, I fell in love with the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base, and I have never looked back. Like, since I discovered this, there has just not been a primer that I use more. And the thing that I really like about this primer too is that when I first bought it, you know, because a little bit goes a really long way, and when I first bought it, I think that first jar of it lasted me for like ever. This is now my third jar. So I basically used about 2.5 jars all year for a primer. So that's not bad, especially when I use it pretty much every single day. It is my favorite primer. It just kind of keeps me nice and hydrated, and I can depend on it. Okay, I had to pull my hair back. It was driving me nuts. I need to wash it. It's so dirty. Anyway, the foundation that kind of rocked my world last year was the Lancome Skin Feels Good. There was a lot of favorite foundations within those months. Let's see, I have the I have the Dior Air Flash. I have the Makeup Revolution Stick Foundation. I have the Dior Backstage, which I still really love. I also have the YSL All-in-One Glow. I really enjoyed that foundation. But you guys, I just have to use this one. This one, out of all of the ones I just mentioned, this is the one that kind of just was everything. I loved it so much, and I still do. I like to stipple this into the skin because this is kind of a lighter coverage foundation, but if I go in and stipple it in small sections like this, I can build up good coverage with this foundation, and I can make it last me. Now, this is more of a dewier foundation, so, you know, if you guys do not like a dewy foundation, I don't recommend this one. But, you know, I love it. It feels very healthy on the skin. And there's several of my followers, my friends, that I have recommended this foundation to, and people just love it. So then I like to just take a sponge and just kind of smooth it out at that point. It looks so good. Oh, I love this foundation so much. It's really lightweight and it's very healthy. The concealer that just kind of really changed everything, was a game changer for me, was the Tarte Creaseless Concealer. I love this concealer. There's some people that love it and some people that don't. And for me, I like it because it's more radiant and it's more hydrating underneath my eyes. It eventually sets down, but it does take a minute for it to finally like set down onto the under eye. But I like it because it gives the illusion of a creaseless look. So obviously the creases are still there. It definitely gives the illusion of a creaseless under eye. So I think that's what I love about it the most. I even still have it in the old packaging, and I bought it years ago in this old packaging, and then I stopped using it. And then when they released this new packaging in a wand, I jumped all over it. So I am going to just put a little bit of this down here. And the trick with this concealer is a little bit goes a really long way. And I do like blending this in with a sponge. So typically, you know, lately I've been blending my concealers in with my fingers, but I do enjoy blending this in with a sponge. I feel like the sponge kind of gives me the best application with this. And I think it's just because it's a thicker concealer. And I feel like with a sponge, it picks up the extra, you know, that you don't really want sitting under your under eye. Okay, next up, I'm gonna do my brows. In my June favorites, I had discovered this, Urban Decay, what am I talking about? I had discovered this Dior eyebrow pencil. I'm almost out. I just ordered another one. I love this. This is in the shade Universal Brown. Once I first tried it, I was like, oh my gosh, this brow styler is amazing. And I have been using it since I found it back in June. So it's definitely an OG favorite. So I'm gonna run this 24-hour brow setter through my brows. And I like to make sure that every like individual hair is like covered. It's kind of the best way for me to make this work and to kind of get my brows to be thick. I'm growing out my brows, and as you can see, I have a lot of growth coming through here, which I am so excited about. But just like if you're growing out your bangs, the growing out your brows is annoying. Like the growing out stage is extremely annoying. Like it sucks so much, but I know that it's going to pay off. Like I just have to keep, you know, working with it. So once I let it kind of sit there for a minute and kind of dry a little bit, I will comb them up and then comb them into the shape that I'm gonna, you know, go ahead and fill in. So I kind of comb these up and then I kind of push these over to this side. So I'm gonna push these up right here and then what I normally do is let that dry for about a minute. If you go directly in with your product, like your pencil, or if you're using a pencil or a shadow or a cream, pomade, or whatever, you know, if you go directly in while this is still wet, you're not gonna have the best results. The key to that product is letting it dry. I always have one of these brushes sitting right here with me, so that in case I get a little bit too high, I can just kind of push the, you know, product back down into the brow. And this is like a lifesaver when I'm doing my brows. Then I just go in with this brow styler and just start kind of creating a little bit of hair strokes. But I love this shade, you guys. This shade is so good, like so good. Okay, so in May, I discovered this. This is the Hourglass Translucent Setting Powder, the Veil, and I love this so much. It's so soft, and I feel like this is like dry skin friendly. So if you're like dry normal, and sometimes powders can be a little bit too heavy for your skin, but you still want a little bit of powder, this is unbelievably soft, so smooth, and feels pretty hydrating on the skin. I actually bought the brush to go with it, which I really love this brush. I'm just gonna kind of brush this all over my face. Now I know that Jaclyn Hill uses a sponge. I kind of just prefer the brush. I feel like the sponge, even though the sponge does kind of like press it into the skin, I kind of prefer the brush. I don't know, it's just preference, but. Next up on the list is this bad bitch from Becca and Chrissy. I love this palette. I actually took this on vacation with me last year and dropped this palette on the tile, and this shade come flying out, and I was so pissed about it, you guys. I was so pissed. But I love this palette. It is a oldie but a goodie. So I talked about this palette in my May's favorites. But in April, I used the Marc Jacobs Tantastic Brow Bronzer. And I like this bronzer still. It's a beautiful bronzer. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this to kind of contour my cheeks up a little bit. But I'm gonna go in with the one from Becca over top of it, because that one just kind of gave me some shape to the face. But now I want to kind of deepen it. So I'm going to dip into this part right here with this brush and just go over top of it. I'm going to take this brush and kind of go around and soften up this bronzer with that brush I used the setting powder with. Now I'm going to go into the blush because, I mean, oh, I love me some blush. Okay, so I'm going to go into this shade right here. Oh, it's pigmented. I forgot how pigmented it is. What's crazy is that blush on camera shows up way more than it does in real life. So even though that looks like a lot of blush and through the camera in real life, like when I step outside, I'm like, oh, I thought I went overboard on my blush, but I really didn't in real life. You know, it's weird how the camera will really pick up those tones and those shades and make it look like I'm like a clown. Whatever. I'm going to go over it with that brush again, just to kind of soften up the edges. I'm going to wipe that brush off, and I'm going to go into this shade right here and just pop it over top, just to give it a little bit of that shimmer. Okay, so in March, I discovered the beautiful Enriched from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I love this. It's discontinued now, but I still really love this. It's such a beautiful highlighter. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on the high points of my face. It's so freaking pretty. Gosh dang, it's pretty. I'm just going to use the Morphe setting mist. So I have a couple palettes here that were a part of my favorites last year. So the Born to Run palette from Urban Decay. I mean, yes, it's a nice palette. And I like it because it is super duper travel friendly. It has a nice hard case on it, so it can be kind of knocked around and potentially not upset and, you know, break the shadows. My other favorite was from ColourPop, this Fame palette. Perfect. I actually took this on vacation with me. I love how the shadows are really easy to blend. It's a mostly cool tone palette. It's still a really, really good palette, and I really like it. Also, this Marc Jacobs, this is the iconic Fantasine palette, and I really, really liked this palette as well. Again, more of the cool tone palette, and then you have some golds and this really pretty like pink shimmer shade here on the end that's kind of like a peachy pink shade, which I really like this palette. It's a beautiful palette. But the one I think I'm going to use today, and the only reason why I'm going to use it is because I've not picked it up for a really long time, and it's the Urban Decay Beached palette. I'm going to take this type of a brush. It's just like a flat, soft, flat brush. This is from Morphe. This is a Jaclyn Hill collaboration. It's a JH42 brush. I'm going to go into the first shade Salt, this one right up here, and I'm going to place this on the inner corner, kind of lighten everything up right here. And I'm going to place this on the brow bone as well. And I'm going in dry, like this is completely dry. I'm gonna go into Daybreak, which I will say right off the bat, Daybreak is the only matte shade in the palette. The thing that's nice about Daybreak is very easy to build. You can have a dimensional look just by using that one shade, which I totally appreciate. So I'm just gonna lightly start like sweeping this in my crease. So I really don't know what look I'm going for, but I'm just gonna go for it, you know? So I'm really making sure that this is nice and blended because I don't know how much I'm going to build up this shade. I'm gonna take a pencil brush, this right here, and I'm gonna go into that shade Daybreak, and I'm gonna keep this right here on this inner part. I kind of want to have like a gradient effect on the lid. Like I kind of want to have this in the inner corner and then have it kind of gradually go out into this. So I'm going to go back into that pencil brush into Daybreak, and I'm going to place this on my lower lash line. I'm going to go into the shade Blaze, this one right here, and then I'm going to spray it down because I do remember that that shade works best when it's sprayed. I'm gonna kind of bring this into the inner corner, kind of having it, see how pretty that is? I'm gonna wipe the brush off. I'm gonna go into that first shade Salt that we have on the inner corner and kind of put that right directly on the inner corner and then have it kind of gradual. Like I want that gradual effect. So I'm going to go back into Blaze really fast and kind of really pack that on right here. Then I'm going to wipe the brush off and I'm going to go into the shade Heat Wave, which is this one right here. It's right below it. Wet that down because I do not want to get any fallout from that shade. So then I'm going to pack this on this outer corner part and then I'll kind of blend it into that other shade. Oh, it's so pretty. And so I'm just kind of melting Blaze and Heat Wave together. I think I'm going to go into Double Dip, which is this one right here. It's the lighter of the blues. And I'm going to kind of coat the brush with that shade, and then I am definitely going to spray it. Kind of start pressing that over top of Daybreak. So I'm going to wipe that brush off and I'm going to go into Salt, which is the first shade in the palette that we have on the inner corner. And I am going to kind of bring that into that. Okay, I'm going to go back into the pencil brush. I'm going to go back into Daybreak. And I am going to go right back over top of that just so that I can kind of bring that back to life under there. I forgot just how much I really like this palette. It's a really pretty palette. Okay, so I am back and let's go ahead and do the lippies. So for my mascara, I just threw on my Pat McGrath mascara that I've absolutely been loving so much. In June of last year, the Clinique Lower Lash Mascara, I had discovered it and fell madly in love with it. The wand on this is amazing. I don't know if you guys have heard me talk about this, but the wand on this is really little. Get those little hairs on that lower lash line so easy, so quick, and it doesn't cause any raccoon eyes. I absolutely love that lower lash mascara. It's like 12 bucks. It's like the best $12 you've ever spent. So last year I discovered these, and these are from Jouer. These are the Pearl Pigment lip glosses, high pearl pigment lip glosses. High pigment pearl lip glosses. I have it in the shade Seychelles and Maui, and I love these. These were in my March favorites. In June, is when I discovered like the KKW beauty line, where I loved all of her lip liners. Her like nude #1, #2, #3 are my favorite lip liners on the planet. I just ordered more, so she just released I think like 1.5 and 2.5 and stuff like that. So I did order more, which I will show you guys those shades when they arrive. But I absolutely love her lip liners, but I also love her lipsticks. I have several lipsticks, but I used them in my previous Kim K recreation video, so I really don't want to use those again just because I've already just used them. The other one that I talked about, which was in May's favorites, is this one. This one is from the Kylie and Court collaboration. It's in the shade French Kiss. And again, I just used this in my Kylie Cosmetics haul that I just recently did. So I really don't want to use those that I just used. So I am going to put on these. I absolutely love these. If you guys have not seen these, they're so beautiful. If you love a beautiful shimmery lip that's super soft, oh my gosh. So this one is Maui, and as you can see, Maui has kind of a peachy rose gold kind of undertone, and then this one is Seychelles, and it's more of a coppery rose gold color. It's not a full copper and it's not a full rose gold. It's just maybe like a dark rose gold, but it's so beautiful. These are so pretty and they smell so good. And they actually last a long time, which is really impressive. I think I'm gonna go ahead and let's put on Maui. And I'll just wear it like this. Like sometimes I won't even put a lip liner on, but I carry these in my purse for that quick like lipstick because they've got really, really good pigmentation. For being a nice shimmer lipstick, they're beautifully pigmented. Now, if I wanted to darken that, I would just go in and add a little bit of the Seychelles. It's so pretty, you guys. Seriously, these are so pretty. This actually goes so perfect with the eyeshadow look that I'm wearing. I'm absolutely obsessed with this, and I really thought this video was just kind of fun. It was fun to kind of go through some of my old favorites that I absolutely loved last year and play around with them, and my feeling has not changed on any of the products that I use today. I still love them the exact same way as when I first played with them. So, okay, and as you guys know, I'm going to just take 30 seconds of every video and do a creator shout out. So this video's creator shout out goes to Christina Brooke, and I will leave a link to her channel in the description box down below. She is a very, very sweet person, and she does really good, thorough reviews. Her editing skills are incredible, like so much better than mine, and I'm so jealous about it. But she does really good reviews, and I really, really appreciate her channel. And you know, we want to bring positivity back into the YouTube community, and so my way of doing that is to, you know, go ahead and give a creator shout out to people who I feel like deserve recognition and they deserve support and all of that. So head over to Christina's channel. She's super sweet, and let her know that you are coming over from my family. And she's just a sweet person, and I think you guys would really, really enjoy her reviews. And she just talks very well and just kind of put together, and I really, really enjoy her. So definitely head over to her channel and check it out. That's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you guys have any ideas of any videos that you guys want me to create, let me know in the comments down below. And I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend filled with love and happiness. I will see you guys in my next video, and I love you all so much. Bye!